everybody, in this video we're going to start doing some proofs with biconditionals, namely number 3 ABC out of the book. Let's get into it. Let's start with 3A here. This one's on page 86. Actually, a little bit goes over to page 87 as well. So here's the setup. Here's what we got. Now, I've already got over here. Here's going to be our approach. I talked about this earlier. Here's now the rule set and the recommended order. So look and see. Arrow out, modus tollens. Double arrow out. That's a new double arrow in. These are, if you can do them, you probably should. And out as well. These are, if you really need to do them, and then these are emergency use only. So these should be last resorts. Don't start with these. So let's see, any arrows? No. Any double arrows? Yep. There and there. Break them down. Let's start with the first one. I'm going to start with the first one. You could actually break down the second one first, and that'll be fine. That first one breaks down into A arrow B, B arrow A. That's double arrow out on line 1 for both. Even though I know I can break down line 2, I'm just going to do a quick check. I've got 2 arrows now. Do I have left side matches? No. Do I have right side contraries? No. So no arrow outs or modus tollens are happening yet. Okay, so let's go back up to what I know I can do. Arrow out, no. Modus tollens, no. I just said that. Double arrow out, there's that one I've been able to do since the beginning. On line 2, that gets me C arrow B and also B arrow C. Okay, those are double arrow out on line 2 for both. Now I got, look, a total of 4 arrows here, for which I have no left side matches and no right side contraries. There does seem to be some overlap, though. That might come in handy. So let's go down the list. Arrow out, nope. Modus tollens, nope. Double arrow out, nope. Double arrow in, yeah. But you would only end up building things that we already have in line 1 and line 2. And out, not happening. And in, no reason to do that. Double negation, no reason to do that. Is our goal an arrow? Yep. So what do? Provisionally assume the left. Get the right in that situation. So that we start a side quest. So we're going to get the A as a provisional assumption. Okay. And the side quest here is get C. Okay, because what we're saying is, let's just pretend if we get this, will we get this? And if we can get that, we can prove that we can shove the arrow in there, that the conditional proof works. So now with the A in play, can I do an arrow out? Yep. There's that. Look at line 3, A arrow B. Now I finally got that left side match. What does that get me? B. Arrow out, 3 and 7. Now I have a choice here. You may notice, can I do another arrow out with this B in play? Yeah, I can do 2. Okay, I can go, 4 and 8. I wouldn't do that, and here's why. If you do that, you'll get A, which you already have. So we have no reason to go back and get another A. Is there another arrow out I can do? Between 6 and 8. What does that get me? C. Arrow out, 6 and 8. And there we go. Look, this tidies this up. I said we're going to provisionally assume A and get C. We did it. So now we can zoom out and say that's a thing. Yep, if you start with A, it will get you C eventually. How so? Arrow in. Where did it start? 7. Where do we stop? 9. All right, now time for 3B on page 87. Okay, so first take a look. So I've got it set up here. We got D double arrow E, E arrow D, arrow G arrow F, D arrow E, arrow F arrow G. And we're trying to solve for F double arrow G. F if and only if G. These are the moves we've got in play in the recommended order. That hasn't changed any. So let's see. First of all, do I have arrows? Not in parentheses? Yep. Left side match. Remember the left side here, E arrow D. If I had a full left side match for that, I don't. That's not going to work. Left side match here? No. Okay, right side contrary? No. Right side contrary? No. Okay then. Moving on. Can't do arrow out and modus tollens. Can I do a double arrow out? Yep. Right here. Double arrow, so let's unpack it. That gets us D arrow E and E arrow D. And that is double arrow out on line 1 for both. Okay, go back to the top of the list. Can I do an arrow out now? Yep. Take a look. So look right here. This E arrow D that I just unlocked is actually the left side match of line 2 of this arrow. There it is. And look, actually, in line 3, the D arrow E that I've got, we just got the left side match here in line 4. So they're bigger, but it still works the same way. It's the right key. So let's start with this one that comes in line 2. What does this unlock? I get the left side match. It unlocks G arrow F, arrow out, 2 and 5. And also here, again, line 3, we just got the left side match in line 4. So what does that unlock? F arrow G, arrow out. In this case, 3 and 4. Go down the list again. Arrow out. Oh, I got new arrows. I got 4 of them. Doesn't seem like I have left side matches or right side contraries though, so keep going. Double arrow out, can I do any more of those? No, I already broke down all the ones I could. Double arrow in. Now, remember at this time, what are we trying to solve for? F double arrow G. And I'll say this, there are a few exceptions to this, but kind of like when I said this a couple of chapters ago, or actually like for quiz 3, like if the thing you're trying to solve for is a dot, if it's a conjunction, probably the last move is going to be an and in. There are exceptions to that, but I'll say this here too with double arrows. If you're trying to solve for a double arrow, there's a high probability, okay, there are exceptions, but a high probability that your last move is going to be a double arrow in. Now, in order to make this double arrow, think about double arrow in, what two things would we need? We'd need F arrow G, and we'd need G arrow F. Do we have those? Yep, we literally just got them. So what can we do? Bring them together. F, double arrow G, double arrow in, 7 and 6. You could say 6 and 7 there, that's just as fine. 3B is done. 3C. So we got H double arrow I dot J. And we've also got I arrow H, and we're trying to solve for H double arrow I. Look, we're solving for a double arrow, which means in all likelihood, we are probably going to do last move double arrow in. Probably. Let's see. And also, let me go ahead and preview here. What two things would we need to make that? We'd need H arrow I, and we'd also need I arrow H. Now take a look. Look at line 2. We already have half of what we need. So if it's true, maybe there's another way to solve it where we don't need to do this, but we already have 50% of what we need to make this double arrow in happen. So let's just go around the problem, like doing our stuff normally, and see how it works out. So first of all, arrows not in parentheses. Yep. Does that lead to an arrow out or a modus tollens? No, it doesn't. Do we have a double arrow not in parentheses? Yes, we do. That's this. Unpack that. That gets us H arrow I and J. That's one of those double arrow outs. Double arrow out, line 1. And we also get I dot J arrow H. Also double arrow out, line 1. Now look, I've got new arrows here. 2 of them. Left side matches? Nope. Right side contraries? Nope. Can I do another double arrow out? Nope. Double arrow in? I could, but it only gets me what I already have. And out? There are some dots there, but they're in parentheses, so I don't have access to them. And in? Again, you can. Any of those are going to make something long and complicated. And that's not what we're going for. Double negation? Not worth doing. Is our goal an arrow? And then it's a double arrow, but I already said what we need to build that are two things. We need I arrow H, which we already have, and the other thing we'd need would be H arrow I. Do we have that? We don't have it, but it's an arrow. So if this is what we need to get, and again, we're already at 50% completion here because we got I arrow H. If we could provisionally assume H and get I, okay, this, then we could build this arrow, link it up with this with a double arrow in, and bam, we've got this. So let's give that a try. So again, what we're going after, we're going to try and get H arrow I. If we can get it, we can double arrow it in, plug it into this, and build this. Let's just see if we can. Well, how do we do an arrow in out of nowhere? Because we said so. So check it out. As long as you follow the rules, let's indent and start a side quest. So that arrow, we're going to provisionally assume the left side. That would be H. Provisional assumption. So what's the side quest mission here? Get I. Do that. You prove that arrow, and then we can just slap them together with a double arrow in. Okay, so now with this H in play, can we do an arrow out? Yep. 3 and 5. That gets us I dot J. Arrow out, 3 and 5. Cool. Now, can I do another arrow out? No. Modus tollens? No. Any more double arrows? Either break out or build? Not yet. Do I have a dot here, not in parentheses? Yes. And I can slice it down. It gives me two things. So we have an option here, by the way. So I'm just going to explain what to do. I'm going to go ahead and get I out and out. Okay, where did that come from? Line 6. Now you might be thinking, hey, that's what I was in my mission to do. I was supposed to solve for I. So yeah, you can be done with this side quest right here, like I. But if you're like, what do I do with the J? Where do I put it? And that's really bothering you, just stick J there. That's fine. But it's not necessary. So I'm going to say this is actually a superfluous step, but it's not wrong. But if you feel uncomfortable not finishing it, that's okay. But we can stop here actually in line 7. So, in fact, I'm going to get rid of the number here. I'm just going to blur this out. This is just an extraneous step. I'm not going to count it. But if you put it here, that's totally fine. But this means here 5 through 7, we did it. We provisionally assumed the left side of our goal here. And we got what we set out to get. We got I. So now I'm going to zoom out. So this is going to be my real line 8. So yeah, you get H arrow I. That's a thing. Well, how do we prove that? We stuck an arrow in there. By provisionally assuming the left side in line 5, and we got the I in line 7. Now, if you stuck that J in there, and you called this line 8, and you're like, no, that's part of it, I would accept that. That's perfectly fine. So now, what do? Look at line 2. So, like, if we go down the list, look, arrow out, no. Monotones, no. Double arrow out, no. Double arrow in, yes. Look at line 2. I arrow H. Look at line 8. H arrow I. We got the two things to build our goal. H, double arrow I. So, in fact, that's what we do. Line 9. H. Double arrow I. That is a double arrow in. Where do we get those pieces? Line 8 and line 2, and this problem is done. So that was a few introductory proofs with biconditionals. What I'm going to do in the next video is I'm going to start doing some more problems out of the book, starting with number 4. See you next time.